Does Aptera have a data privacy policy? Have you guys talked about that? It's been one of these things that people talk about because now cars are big computers on wheels and they can gather a lot of data about things.
We had one, and then we've had suppliers that are like, you need a better one.
Mhm.
So we thickened that up.
Uh,
And yeah, it's interesting what things on the vehicle kind of have to deal with data privacy, things that you wouldn't normally think of.
uh,
And it's really not America that's driving that, it's Europe. They have some
right.
pretty strict policies. So
Mhm.
because we're building with CPC, and some of our components are coming from Europe, we've already had those conversations, and already written those policies, and handed them to the suppliers and say, hey, we're compliant, so sell us your stuff.
Right. Okay. Um, I think I heard recently that you guys lowered the weight of the vehicle.
Hmm.
So what is it expected to weigh now?
um you
And
know
what was it expected to weigh before? And how did you guys lower the weight?
still think we're going to be in the 2,200-pound range, but
Okay.
the interesting thing about the Aptera is, every 30 pounds of weight you add, you basically take away 1% of range. So you go to a Turkey Day and have too big a meal, and you might have less range coming home in your Aptera. So weight is crucially important for us.
Uh-huh.
Aerodynamic loss first, weight is second, efficiency of the powertrain third. So we're looking to shave weight any way we can, and now that we're finally putting a pin in some of these production parts, mostly the metal parts,
Mhm.
and working with our suppliers in Europe, it's hey, can you eke out a few extra ounces? And the team in Italy have done a great job, and kind of basically um, hand it to the supplier, get a quote back. The
Mhm.
supplier kind of analyzes the parts and says, yes, with our process, this part will be strong enough for what you need. And we're able to say, well, could you take 10% of the weight out and have it be the same strength? And
Mhm.
the answer has been yes on a lot of parts. So, so I think, yeah, in some areas we've gotten a lot lighter. In
Okay.
some areas we've gotten heavier. But that's just the nature. It's mostly a cost thing. So we
Right.
look at one part, and they're like, we could sell you this part that weighs 1.6 pounds for $50, or you could have the 1.2 pound one for 300. And we say, okay, we'll take the extra 0.4 pounds because we don't want to pay double the cost for some of the parts.
Right. So talking about price, I was wondering, are you guys close enough with your supply chain to know to feel comfortable like locking down a price for people? Because I think there's some people that would be like, hey, it'd be nice to lock down the price for current reservation holders and say, hey, like if you if you order now, we'll lock down a price for you. If you order until afterward, we may have to raise the price depending on how things go for us.
Yeah, I wish we could do that, but the supply chain now, and we predict in the future, will not let us do that.
Okay.
Our pricing is probably going to be much more akin to Tesla. They've adjusted their pricing, as they've needed to, as they've been able to find cheaper parts, or cost down certain vehicles in their line. And we think we're probably going to have to be the same way, because Detroit, they design a vehicle, and they sign all their master supplier agreements with all their suppliers, and then they build that vehicle for 5 years. And they've already written the agreement with the supplier to pay $50 per part, or
Mhm.
$75 per part. And the supplier said, we will guarantee that part for the 120,000 vehicles in this vehicle program.
Okay.
So it's kind of all locked in. That is not how that's not how Tesla did it.
Okay.
Tesla said, Tesla went to the supply chain and said, we're not playing the Detroit game. We'll order 1,000 parts from you at this price,
Mhm.
and then we'll renegotiate. And I think it was very wise of them, because as they got higher and higher volumes, it became apparent to their supply chain that, hey, if we want to keep their business,
Mhm.
we need to give them lower prices, or Tesla's going to vertically integrate and take
Mhm.
us out of the supply chain, and they're going to build it themselves and put a Tesla sticker on it.
Mhm.
So, I think we'll be in that same position where once we build the first 100 vehicles, first 1,000 vehicles, we'll be able to go back to the supply chain and hopefully get a lot lower cost. It
Mhm.
will cost more money to build the first vehicles. We know this.
Mhm.
It's kind of a 2-year path to profitability for us.
Right.
So we'll be able to work down those prices. But we think we need to keep flexibility, and really what we want to do is inspire our community that we're trying to make the world a better place through solar power transportation, and you guys are on the journey with us, and we want to be as open and honest about our pricing as possible. We're not trying to gouge people. We're not trying to, we're just trying to be a healthy company and scale to building 150,000 Aptera a year. And that will probably come at a higher cost in the beginning, and then maybe over time, maybe we have a 200-mile range Aptera, and we're able to sell for a greatly reduced cost. Or maybe the market's driving us to, everybody wants 1,000-mile range now. Everybody's just adventuring in Aptera, so maybe we end up skewing it to the 600 and 1,000-mile range version. But I think it's going to be a learning process, and it's going to be just having the conversation with our community and our ambassadors and saying, hey, our bill of materials is X. We need to make 17 points of margin to be a healthy company and continue to grow. And as long as everybody kind of agrees with that, then we spiritually shake hands and drive on into the future.
Sounds good. I think people have noticed that the pre-order numbers have kind of leveled off or slowed down.
Actually, it's the opposite. It's
accelerated.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Couple months. Yeah, I look at the little chart.
Okay.
We can send you a chart if you want to look at it, but there's kind of like the last couple months have been a boost. We had that
because I know you guys have done a ton of since Gamma's been back from Europe, there's been a lot of events. You've had a lot of exposure, so I would have thought that it would have accelerated, but it felt like
it hasn't been. It's not like a huge acceleration, but we've been taking pre-orders for over 2 years now, so it's a nice kind of mountain curve.
Okay, so it's still climbing. It's not plateauing. It
is not, and I imagine what'll happen is once we have the first production intent vehicle.
Oh yeah, it's gonna there's a ton of people that are like, I'm interested in it, but until they prove they can actually deliver a vehicle to a customer, I'm just not gonna sign up. I imagine when you first deliver the first vehicle, it's gonna just be vertical.
Yeah, I mean, it's you get the nightly news, and you get Edmunds and Car and Driver, and some of these bigger places, a lot of social media people that are big, and once they give it third-party validations, this is cool, this is the future, you guys should join too. Then I think we don't see ending our affiliate program, or kind of if you get a referral, 26 referrals get you a free Aptera. I think that will continue in perpetuity. It just makes sense to me. I don't know why Tesla ever stopped it. If somebody brings their friend in, it's a pretty easy discount to give somebody kind of a 3% reward for helping you sell that vehicle. So I think that there will be a lot of people that will be working to get some referrals as we get closer and closer to production. And we can see that number of pre-orders really explode, and it does nothing but good for us, because the more production we're back ordered, the more I think people will invest in the prospect of building plant 2, 3, 4, and scale us to a higher volume production as quick as possible.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Chris. That was great. I think that's all the questions I have for now, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Well, I appreciate it. The Aptera's Owner Club has given us some amazing feedback over the months, and now almost a year now. How old's the channel now?
Yeah, it's a little over a year, I think.
Well,
yeah,
a year of awesomeness from the Aptera Owners Club. I can't thank you enough for giving us such a positive coverage and bringing some insight to the rest of the industry, to all the Aptera owners out there. So humbled by the gracious support we get on your channel and the positive comments, and happy to share with you guys anytime. We should organize just an Aptera Owners Club YouTube event here, and you can live stream it, and then your fans can come see us and have a good time.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that on the visit down next month or something.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Good night, Chris.
Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.